We're going to learn a pair of words meaning village or small town and town or city. So one for village and one for bigger town or city. So pueblo is village or smallish town, pueblo, and larger town or city is ciudad. So pueblo is P-U-E-B-L-O, pueblo, un pueblo, a village, and ciudad is large town or city, ciudad, and ciudad is feminine, so it's una ciudad, C-I-U-D-A-D, and in fact all dad words, D-A-D, ironically, are feminine. So dad, if you think of dad, father, it's actually feminine, the words that end in dad in Spanish. So una ciudad, un pueblo and una ciudad. How would you say there's a lot of pollution in my city? There's a lot of pollution in my city. And pollution is guessable. Polución. But they also use the word contamination a lot. So contaminación, polución or contaminación. So what is it for there is a lot of contamination or a lot of pollution in my city? Hay mucha polución en mi ciudad. Hay mucha polución en mi ciudad. O hay mucha contaminación en mi ciudad. How would you say there is a bank in my town? There's a bank in my town, and the word for bank is banco, B-A-N-C-O, banco. So how would you say there is a bank in my town? Hay un banco en mi ciudad. Hay un banco en mi ciudad. How would you say, I don't like living, or I don't like to live in the city because there is a lot of pollution. I don't like to live in the city because there is a lot of pollution. No me gusta vivir en la ciudad porque hay mucha contaminación. No me gusta vivir en la ciudad porque hay mucha contaminación. How would you say, I like to live in a village. I like to live in a village because it's very quiet. And the word they use for quiet is tranquil, tranquilo, T-R-A-N-Q-U-I-L-O, tranquilo, quiet. So how would you say, I like to live in a village because it's quiet? Me gusta vivir en un pueblo porque es muy tranquilo. Me gusta vivir en un pueblo porque es muy tranquilo. Let's try and remember now what the words were for good and bad. Bueno, malo, bueno, malo. If we want to say the good thing or the bad thing, we say lo bueno and lo malo. Lo bueno, the good thing. Lo malo, the bad thing. Lo, L-O. Lo bueno, lo malo. The good thing, the bad thing. Lo bueno. How would you say the good thing is that it's quiet? Lo bueno es que es tranquilo. Lo bueno es que, the good thing is that, es tranquilo. It's quiet. Lo bueno es que es tranquilo. How would you say the good thing is that there is less pollution in the countryside? The good thing is that there is less pollution in the countryside, and the countryside, or in the country, is el campo. El campo. C-A-M-P-O. El campo. So how would you say the good thing is that there is less pollution in the countryside? And if you've forgotten the word for less, it's menos. Más o menos, more or less, menos. Lo bueno es que hay menos contaminación en el campo. Lo bueno es que hay menos contaminación en el campo. The bad thing is that my friends live in the city and I live in the countryside. The bad thing is that my friends live in the city and I live in the countryside. Lo malo es que mis amigos viven en la ciudad y yo vivo en el campo. Lo malo es que mis amigos viven en la ciudad y yo vivo en el campo. And we've used the word yo there because we're emphasizing I. How would we say the bad thing about my village is that there isn't a restaurant? And the word for about is de. They use the word for of. So the bad thing of my village, the bad thing about my village, de, de, about or of. So the sentence was, the bad thing about my village is that there isn't a restaurant. Lo malo de mi pueblo es que no hay un restaurante. Lo malo de mi pueblo es que no hay un restaurante. How would you say I have to do a lot? I have to do much. Tengo que hacer mucho. Tengo que hacer mucho. I have to do a lot. Tengo que hacer mucho. If we want to say I have a lot to do, I have much to do, I have a lot to do, we say tengo mucho que hacer. Tengo mucho que hacer. I have something to do. Tengo algo que hacer. We still keep the que in there. Tengo algo que hacer. So tengo mucho que hacer. I have much to do. O tengo algo que hacer. Just think of it as a set expression. And the same applies when you want to say there is a lot to do. Hay mucho que hacer. Hay mucho que hacer. There is a lot to do. Hay mucho que hacer. How would you say there is a lot to do in my town? Hay mucho que hacer en mi ciudad. Hay mucho que hacer en mi ciudad. How would you say I have a lot to do today? Tengo mucho que hacer hoy. Tengo mucho que hacer hoy. What about the bad thing is that there isn't much to do. Lo malo es que no hay mucho que hacer. Okay, let's try a long sentence now. The good thing about where I live is that there is a lot to do. The good thing about where I live is that there is a lot to do. Lo bueno de donde vivo es que hay mucho que hacer. Lo bueno de donde vivo es que hay mucho que hacer. How would we say there is a lot to see in Spain? And the same thing applies as there is a lot to do. So how would we say there is a lot to see in Spain? Hay mucho que ver en España. Hay mucho que ver en España. Okay, a pair of new words. Limpio and sucio. Clean, dirty. Limpio, clean, sucio, dirty. Limpio, sucio, limpio, sucio. Limpio, L-I-M-P-I-O, clean. Dirty, sucio, S-U-C-I-O. So limpio and sucio. How would we say the town is nice, but the beach is dirty? The town is nice, but the beach is dirty. And remember to agree the beach and dirty, and the nice with the city or town. La ciudad es bonita, pero la playa es sucia. La ciudad es bonita, pero la playa es sucia. So, la ciudad, feminine, so bonita. La playa, feminine, so sucia. And because we were talking about a characteristic of the beach, we say es sucia. If it wasn't a characteristic, but something that just changed that particular day, it was left dirty, then we could say está sucia. Today the beach is dirty. Hoy la playa está sucia. But if we're talking about a characteristic, that is a dirty beach, then la playa es sucia. How would we say, I like the city because it's very clean? Me gusta la ciudad porque es muy limpia. Me gusta la ciudad porque es muy limpia. And if we wanted to say, I like this city, me gusta esta ciudad. This. I like that city, me gusta esa ciudad. How would we say the terrible thing about this city is that it's very dirty? Lo terrible de esta ciudad es que es muy sucia. Lo terrible de esta ciudad es que es muy sucia. So, the bad thing, lo malo, the terrible thing, lo terrible. If we want to say something is near, we say está cerca. If we want to say it's far, we say está lejos. Está cerca, está lejos. It is near and it is far. Está cerca, está lejos. Está cerca, near, C-E-R-C-A. It's far, está lejos, lejos, L-E-J-O-S. Está lejos. So está cerca, está lejos. How would we say it's not very near? No está muy cerca. No está muy cerca. How would we say it's very far? Está muy lejos. Está muy lejos. And when we want to say near to somewhere or far from somewhere, we say está cerca de, it's near to, and está lejos de. So está cerca de, it's near to, and está lejos de, it's far from. So está cerca de mi casa, it's near to my house. Está lejos de mi casa, it's far from my house. How would we say, I like where I live because it's near to the station? Me gusta donde vivo porque está cerca de la estación. Me gusta donde vivo porque está cerca de la estación. How would we say we live near to London? We live near to London. Vivimos cerca de Londres. Vivimos cerca de Londres. How would we say, do you live near the beach? ¿Vives cerca de la playa? ¿Vives cerca de la playa? What about the bad thing is that it's far from where I work. The bad thing is that it's far from where I work. Lo malo es que está lejos de donde trabajo. Lo malo es que está lejos de donde trabajo.